Hello. So in this place-based lesson plan, I am doing a lesson based around first grade geography, and it's going to be set here in Topeka because this is hopefully where I'm going to be student teaching and then after graduation getting a job. So I kind of wanted to focus in this area, and I also think there's a lot of cool opportunities here that we can pull into in our first grade lesson. So it'll be broken down into two pieces. The first day being a 45 to 50-minute lesson just about our school. The standard that I'm using is standard 4, talking about how societies change over time. So we'll be talking about our own school and using the speaking and listening 1.4 standard, talking about how to use or using relevant details in our language to express our ideas and feelings clearly. So we'll look at our classroom. Is it bright? Is it big? Is it small? Is it crowded? Kind of using those words to describe our classroom. And then after that, we'll do the same thing on the large scale with our whole building. And students will have papers and clipboards so they can walk around with and kind of draw pictures of classrooms if they want, or kind of relevant details that they see are important to our school building. So once we get back to the classroom, we can talk about some details about our school. When was it founded, or when was construction completed? When did it open? And kind of talk about how if there's been renovations to the building since, and more of those details. And then together as a class, we can build a map of the school about things we've seen, how many classrooms we saw, where the office is, where the gym is, where the specials rooms are, and kind of just have a collaborative map that the teacher will make, but obviously the students will be giving the input and helping you create the map alongside. So that's the first part. And then the second part will take place at the one-room schoolhouse that we have here in town that's connected to the Kansas History Museum. Obviously, a one-room schoolhouse is very different from your building. There's buildings here in Topeka that are 60, 70, 80 years old, and there's buildings here that are 2-3 years old. So a one-room schoolhouse will be very different from those new builds or even those that are older but have had renovations. I mean, any school is going to be bigger than a one-room schoolhouse. If you don't have a one-room schoolhouse near or an older school building, you could go to a different building in your district, whether it's another elementary school or a high school or a middle school, and kind of get that same activity that you did at your school to talk about how school has changed over time geographically, and make another map the same way that you did. In the one-room schoolhouse, my plan was to do a whole day there. Carry on your English, your math, your writing, and your social studies lessons there just as normal, but be in the one-room schoolhouse. When it comes to time for social studies and English, I would do that probably after lunch towards the end of the day, so they're kind of comfortable in their surroundings and have noticed the differences and the new things about their surroundings, so they can use those describing words to say that it's small, maybe it's really dark compared to our classroom back at the school, and being able to use those words to describe to make another map that we will all make as a class. And then we can, once we get back to the classroom, compare our school to the one-room schoolhouse and talk about how the schools have changed over time, from the time that they had just one room to many, many, many rooms. I think plays a significant role in this lesson because it allows us to see firsthand that schools have changed, just in general. That we're no longer in one-room schoolhouses where it's a mixed classroom of K-6 students and even maybe high schoolers. That we have different classrooms for different grades and maybe even different teachers for different grades. And so they get that their foot in the door with that idea that things are changing. And I think that's really important because as they grow in their social studies career, you're going to see that your community has changed. You're going to see that your state has changed. you're going to see that your country has changed and even the world. And I think if they're able to understand that as first graders, it'll be easier to grasp when they get older. And they can pull into their geography skills and kind of work on mapping and drawing out things. That's going to help them in later grades when they're learning about their community, state, country, and world, and being able to map those things because they've already done it. I think it's just a really unique opportunity to even be able to go to a one-room schoolhouse. I know we went in 4th grade for our Kansas history unit, and I thought that was like still one of the best days of my like elementary school career. And I think the early exposure to it, if they were to return as a 4th grader like I did, they would almost appreciate it more because they understand now the changes from then to now, and going back into that setting, they're able to kind of appreciate it more and take it all in again. So thank you for listening.